Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's episode is a solo tarp camping trip in the forest. So as you guys can see, I've already got the tarp, the sleeping pad, and my sleeping bag already set up. I also brought a little bathtub ground sheet just to help keep everything secure and off the ground from all these little sticks that are itching to pop a hole in my air pad. So this is going to be a very, very relaxing evening with that nice spring breeze whipping through the forest, and just being out in the open, having a 360-degree view of the forest is something that I really, really look forward to tonight. So I've got some food, cooking things in my backpack, my saw. I am going to be cooking over an open campfire this evening, so I do have to get some things out of here and get to work on firewood, and then get a fire going right away, have a hot drink, and carry on with the day. All right, everybody, sitting down with a coffee in hand, campfire right down at my feet. This is definitely enjoyable. So right now the sun is working its way down through the sky, which means I don't have a whole lot of daylight left, and nightfall will be here rather soon, probably within the next hour and a half to 2 hours. Firewood collection is almost laughable in this area. There's so many trees that are down, and it's just, the forest is loaded full of firewood. So I'm not gonna fret too much on that, which means this camp out will be super relaxing and just kind of enjoy a small fire. I don't really need it for the heat because it's nice and warm out today, but later on this evening it'll be nice to have a fire just to light up the forest and sit outside of the tarp for a little bit. I will give you guys a rundown on my sleep system, what I have for a sleeping bag, sleeping pad, things of that nature a little later on. But right now, I just want to chill out, enjoy my coffee before getting a little bit more firewood on there and then starting on supper. So cheers, guys. Coffee break. Alright everybody, I've got a steak and onions cooking over the campfire. That's going to cook really nice and slow, and I'm super excited for that because I'm starving right now. And I figure I might as well take a little bit of time to explain what I've got going on here for a sleep setup. The temperatures tonight are forecasted to go to -2 to -3 degrees Celsius, so not cold at all. So what I chose to bring, where I am in an open tarp configuration, is a ground sheet. This is from Mountain Cattle. I found this on Amazon quite a while back. I want to say probably about a year ago. I'm not sure if they're still available, but it's just a basic bathtub ground sheet. For my sleeping pad, I have my Amok pad. This is the Fuel Winter Light pad, so that has an R value of 5, I believe. Very nice and warm, even down to -18 degrees Celsius, both in a hammock and on the ground. I find I like that quite a bit. For my sleeping bag, where I am not inside of a tent and there is wind coming through here, I went with a -18 degree down bag. This is my Outdoor Vitals bag, and it's going to be very, very nice and warm. If I do get too warm, it's a center zip down the chest, so I can simply unzip a little bit, let a bit of cold air in, and that won't be a problem at all. And then for the tarp, this is my signature edition Lone Wolf 902 lightweight hammock tarp. And that's basically it, guys. Just tarp set up, and just it's nice to be in the open every now and then. I pitched the tarp up nice and high so I can see all the way around, giving me a really, really great experience of being in the forest. And the tarp is basically here just in case it rains. Otherwise, I would not have brought it. I would have just slept on the ground just like this, like I do all winter time. So I'm going to go back to the fire, keep cooking some food, and hopefully be able to eat it soon. All right, everybody, supper time is done, and definitely 2 thumbs way up on that. That steak and those onions were on point tonight. It's not very cold. My hands are a little chilly, so having a little bit of hot food on a chilly day like this versus having hot food on a freezing cold day where you're racing to eat it before it goes cold, it was definitely nice. So, having a look inside of the tarp, I have everything ready for tonight. I got my light ready, my sleeping bag, my slippers, all kinds of stuff in there ready to go. Now there is one thing I do want to address. A couple things actually. One, bears are awake right now, and there are a lot of them around here. So I am actually going to be sleeping with my cooking gear and my food under the tarp, as it won't make any difference if I put it up in a tree. If the bear wants to get it, it's going to get it. And there's food scent all over camp. It's impossible to hide it. So I'm going to keep my food with me, as I'm most worried about squirrels and coyotes and raccoons more so than bears. The second thing I want to mention is, if you're considering camping like this with an open style tarp, and this video is making you kind of sketched out, and then it's not for you. Definitely not for you. So if you're going to go solo camping with an open tarp configuration, make sure you're comfortable doing it. This is open 360 degrees, meaning I'm vulnerable 360 degrees around me in the daylight as well as in the darkness. I'm totally fine with that. I do this very often, and I'm actually really comfortable doing this. It just offers a different experience. I have loads of tents to use, loads of hammocks, but this gives a total different experience, and that's what I'm all about, is the experience. The gear is only a tool to gain that experience. That's all it is. So this is going to be a really enjoyable night, but I just want to say, if you're thinking about getting into open tarp camping solo style, just try it in your backyard, make sure you're comfortable with it, because once nightfall sets in, it's a whole different ball game. So with that said, I am totally ready for nightfall. Now I'm going to park my butt in front of the campfire, get that stoked up, and basically just enjoy it for a little bit. Alright guys, nightfall is finally here. I've got the fire crackling just behind me, as you guys can see. I've got the tarp up elevated, so even when I do come in here, I can lay down here, get halfway in my sleeping bag, and still see the campfire from inside of my tarp. So that's the idea with that. Now I do have my light bulb turned on up above. I've got my headlamp turned on as well, so I've got loads of light in here. And I gotta say, it is absolutely silent out here right now. Other than the fire and a little bit of wind pushing through the trees, it is totally silent. So what I'm going to be doing is I think I'm going to jump in my sleeping bag. I want to get my battery and stuff off to that side and basically just give it a test lay. So I already know that the ground is slanted this way slightly, and if it's bad enough that it's going to bother me, what I'm going to do is take my backpack and I'm going to jam it underneath my air pad on this side just to lift it up. I don't think it'll be too bad, but one other thing I do need to do is add a little bit more air, where during the daytime when I inflated it, it was warmer. It's now colder, so lost a little bit of pressure. So probably just half a pump sack here. Get this added, and using these pump sacks is a huge benefit with these air pads, these insulated pads, because you're not putting moisture from your lungs into the pad, which then creates ice crystals. So that's the whole idea with these pump sacks. And honestly, it didn't even need half a pump sack full, so that's much better right there. So having these pump sacks puts in ambient air, no moisture inside, helps the pad last a lot longer. It also stays a lot warmer. So if you have a pump sack, use it. Highly recommend using it. They're not a gimmick, they actually work. So I'm gonna get my boots off, crawl inside, and I'll see you guys in there. Alright, so this is going to be my view for the evening, laying right here, having a look at that campfire out there underneath of the tarp and just relaxing. I want to get all these lights shut off and just let that campfire glow, let it snap and crack, and just lay here and relax. So that means I got to get the camera put away, and I'll see you guys first thing in the morning. Good night, guys. Good morning, everybody. It is an absolute beautiful, crisp, and cool morning out here in the forest. As you guys can see, the campfire is ripping roaring. It is actually cold enough to have a fire, surprisingly. So it did get down to -4 degrees Celsius last night. It's already starting to warm up. I can feel the air in my hands. Just kind of, it's not as cold as it was when I woke up. So jacket off, sweater kind of undone, more in relax mode right now. Plus being in front of the fire is nice and warm in this closeness to it. So hot coffee on the go, just having a regular morning here, guys. So last night was very interesting though. I will mention I had a visitor come into camp and it was a big old raccoon. So he came right up to the head of my tarp and he didn't come in. He kind of smelled me and felt the situation out. And of course I knew he was there. I could hear him coming closer. And I'd seen him earlier in the evening, so I was on high alert waiting for him to come in, and sure enough, he did come in, and he tried getting really close to my backpack with all my snacks inside of it. So, scared him off, I went to sleep, no worries for the rest of the evening, no more visitors, so a little bit of a fun time last night, and I gotta say, I was a little worried there for a minute because raccoons and squirrels tear gear apart. So, definitely watch out for the raccoons and squirrels. Other than that, I slept like a baby. It was nice and warm inside of that sleeping bag, zipped all the way up, and a nice cool breeze kind of whisking through the tarp as well. So, really, really good evening. Like I said, guys, I got my coffee on the go right now. Kind of mesmerized by that fire right now, just staring at it. So, I think that's what I'm going to do. Chill out here for a few minutes, get warm by the fire, enjoy some coffee, and start the morning. All right, everybody, I've got everything packed away inside of the backpack, just a classic lone wolf pack up. Cram it in there, deal with it when I get home. So I do have to wait for the campfire to burn totally out before I take off. I've got a little bit of water left in my water bottle. I might as well dump that over there just to help the process speed up a little bit. But I have to say, this trip was definitely refreshing and needed. Just camping out in the open under a tarp is always enjoyable, especially during the transitional seasons. just before the bugs come out in the summertime. So I'm really glad I got this one in the bag, and I'm really happy I went with that. And just, yeah, everything about that I highly recommend. If you are interested in solo open tarp camping, try it in your backyard just to make sure you're comfortable with it, because once the light fades and nightfall sets in, it's a totally different game. So make sure you're comfortable with it. Other than that, like I said, everything's in the backpack. I'm totally ready to hit the trail in just a few minutes. I just want to say thank you guys for joining me. Drop your questions and comments down below in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.